Are you concerned about bone strength? Maybe your doctor has recently told you that you need to focus more on weight-bearing exercise, or there may have been a recent diagnosis of osteopenia or osteoporosis. So either way, even without something specific like that, it's very important to focus on keeping our bones and our joints strong and healthy as we age. And, it's a real risk. It's a risk of fractures and falling, and these things become more and more important as we age. So this is what we're going to talk about today. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thanks for joining me. My name is Linnea. I'm the owner and founder of Limber Arts, Pilates, and personal training here in Olympia, Washington. And I offer a lot of online services as well. So wherever you may be on this beautiful planet, okay, so let's dive in. We're going to be talking about everything from kind of the specifics of how muscles and bones work together to create movement and how that either kind of does or doesn't create strong bones. And then we're going to talk about the specifics of different kinds of fitness modalities and how they can also contribute to strong bones. And then from there, we'll touch on some lifestyle and nutrition factors that are really key and important to think about. And so that's kind of an overview of where we're going today. Okay, so let's start off by talking about muscles. Let's talk about bones. Let's talk about how they work together. So just a little bit of science here for you guys, and I'll make it very understandable and hopefully a little bit entertaining. Okay, so basically all movement can be a little bit defined as an interaction, a dance, a play with gravity. So gravity kind of pulls us down. It has a heavy weight on our bones and on our skeleton. And essentially what movement is a little bit of an interplay between getting pulled down with gravity and then pushing it back up. Okay, so whether you're trying to sit up from a really low chair, or maybe you're watching your cat jump up onto the fence, all of this is this kind of dance with gravity of coming down and then pushing back up. And so that's kind of in the most broad sense, really what movement is. And then that's also what movement is when we're looking at any one particular bone or any one particular joint. And so, this is also really how strong bones are created. Okay, so it's the literal force and the movement and the impact at that particular joint in that one particular bone that kind of demands of the system that it create strength and resiliency to be able to withstand that force. Okay, so this is exactly why astronauts, when they go into outer space, need to be worried about their bone health, right? It's very common for astronauts to struggle with bone density issues because they don't have gravity acting on their skeleton. And so, probably neither you or I is an astronaut, although cool if you are. So what does this mean for us? It means that we're really looking at how your movements and your joints and your bones are able to access like a healthy pattern or a healthy movement. Because if there's not good movement happening at each and every joint and at each and every bone, then it's kind of like a missed opportunity to build strength right in that area. And then of course we're a holistic being, so it's all connected. Okay, so if there's some movement lacking over here, it can have a detrimental effect someplace else in the body and so forth. So that's kind of a little bit of an overview of kind of how muscles and bones and gravity all work together, and kind of the idea around why we need to specifically focus on weight-bearing exercise when it comes to strong bones. So the best way to build that strength in the bone is to have gravity working on our system and have it working on our entire system. So that means you're standing up on your 2 feet and you're moving dynamically, and that movement and that impact, we want healthy impact, not, too much impact that's gonna cause, inflammation or joint issues, but we want just the right amount of impact that's going to help to kind of trigger that response of the bone to say, oh, I need to actually get stronger here. Okay, so let's talk specifically about some different movement modalities, some different types of exercise and things like this. And specifically, I really want to touch on the fact, I think it's a fact, that really I believe yoga and Pilates, it's just not enough, okay? Yoga and Pilates they're both excellent for stress relief and mindfulness. They're excellent for low impact fitness. So, if there is a lot of chronic pain or joint issues or different limitations, yoga and Pilates is an excellent option. But strictly speaking, if we're talking about weight bearing exercise and bone strength, then we need to be working a little bit more intensely. We need to be having that as a goal to get to a place where you're building more muscle mass, you're up on your feet, you're maybe adding some weight, some real weight training and resistance training and things like that. So I'm a huge proponent of progressive strength training, and this is really exactly why I am a Pilates instructor and also a personal trainer. And it feeds into really all of the sessions that I teach and all of the classes that I offer, because we need to be able to work in such a way that we're keeping our body safe and not causing more harm than good, right? And so I like to start with a really kind of moderate foundation to help teach your body and rediscover kind of like what's the missing link or what's the imbalance, right? So we started the foundation, but still from there we kind of build to a place where you're doing more weight bearing or lifting heavier weights, right? So yeah, in a nutshell, yoga and Pilates is not enough. And I would argue also that just like walking or hiking is also not really enough, because walking and hiking tend to be more endurance focused, right? How long could you walk for? Probably maybe longer than an hour, right? You might be pretty tired, but you might be able to walk for quite a few hours, right? And so because of that, it's a little bit more endurance based, and it's not putting, again, quite as much impact or force through your bones and through your structure as something like weight training would do, okay? So there's lots of different kinds of weight training. I definitely think it's smart in terms of looking at weight training and resistance training to find something that is geared towards, bone strength, maybe active aging, things like this, because, what lifting weights looks like for somebody who's 20 years old and at the prime of their life is still going to look different, most likely, compared to somebody that's lifting weights in order to, prevent or reduce the impact of osteoporosis. Okay, so it's kind of the same genre, but a different flavor. Okay, so let's finally touch on lifestyle and nutrition. Okay, so lifestyle and nutrition is definitely a key factor here. And I am not a nutritionalist, I'm not a dietitian, so I do like to keep this really simple. It's definitely important, so I want to touch on this while we're talking about strong bones. So it might just kind of be a little bit of a bookmark to say, oh, you might want to look into this a little bit more. I tend to think about it like this. I tend to think of healthy fats as being the most supportive for your joints. Right? If we're just talking about your skeleton and musculoskeletal system, right? Healthy fats are going to support your joints. Protein is what's going to support strong muscles. And vitamins and minerals is really what's going to contribute to strong bones. So we need all of it, but specifically in terms of strong bones, I'm thinking minerals and I'm thinking vitamins, right? So calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, phosphorus, even vitamin K. And essentially what this translates to me when I kind of think about like, okay, let's look at your diet. Let's see if there's a place where maybe diet and nutrition could help assist in strong bones. I'm thinking like, do you have lots of dark green leafy vegetables in your diet, right? Kind of those ones that are like dark green, purple. That's where my mind goes, kind of the darker green. the more mineral and vitamin rich. And then combined with all those leafy greens, do you have a healthy source of protein and healthy fats, right? And if you check those 3 boxes, you're gonna have a beautiful mix of vitamins and minerals in there, combined with, you know, like the healthy fats help get those minerals and vitamins into your bones, right? And then of course, maybe one more thing to talk about is a little bit just other lifestyle factors. You know, like I'm not saying don't walk, right? I'm not saying don't go for that hike. I'm not saying don't do yoga. Oftentimes it's a little bit of a mix, like active living in general. So walking to that yoga class, but then also doing weight training on a different day, you know, playing with the grandkids, like taking that as a time to be like, oh, I'm gonna actually really intentionally try to like get down onto the floor and get back up and use that as my like stretching time, right? So I hope this gives you some ideas for how to stay active and know that you're staying active in such a way that's gonna really contribute to a strong and resilient skeleton and strong, healthy bones. So thanks so much for joining me. Please leave a comment below with your key takeaway, and I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.